What's up? It's Wild Runs here, and today we're looking at every purchase I've ever made. Let's get it. So starting off, I did not think my number was going to be so high, but after the past year and a half, it kind of does make sense that my purchases have been pretty wildly insane, to say the least. But I think actually it's gonna go in line with a lot of other people that are really into the sport. You just every couple months you buy 10 discs, and each disc is at least $8 to $10. So it all adds up, and today we're looking at every purchase, and it's a lot. So starting out, let's just look at the stuff that you kind of are required to have if you are a pretty serious player. So I picked out what was like the most popular on Reddit, Prodigy BP2. $65. I think you can get it for a little bit cheaper, but I really liked it. Hasn't had any issues. The only thing I wish it had was 2 discs to put in the putter slot, because a lot of times I'll have 2 putters I'm practicing with, and I just have to have one with all of the other discs, and it's kind of hard to find. So that's the only thing I would change with that. But overall, I've loved it. And then the Behemoth, the MVP Black Hole Pro HD, $169. That is a lot of money. I wasn't sure I was ever going to get a basket, because I was like, why would I get that if I can just like go to any course and just play at the practice field? But it has been huge. Being able to just go to my backyard and putt for an hour or so is just massive. So I recommend everyone do get it, but it is an investment, no doubt about it. Kind of just like the differentiator from like a casual player to a serious player. Because when you're putting every day at a basket, it's not really like a game anymore. It's a sport. All right. So now we're looking at the regretties, but not really regrets, because it's all helping me to figure out what I like to throw and what I'm good at throwing. So we're gonna look at infinite discs, and this is where I kind of started looking at discs. I looked at a ton of reviews for all the different discs out there, and I still don't really know why I picked some of these, but I do enjoy almost all the ones that I have thrown. So it worked out pretty well. So first off, so we see that incomplete orders, so don't count that. But we have 3 orders that total to about 170. And the thing with infinite discs is that they are a little bit overpriced for what you get. I think that they could do a whole lot better by maybe making shipping less or having more discounts if you buy multiple discs. It's just not the most value for sure. So this is my most recent purchase there. I lost my dagger and I've loved it, so I had to get another one. I heard so much about the CAX, and I have loved that too. It has been super straight, super stable. It doesn't have the best plastic, so that is a bummer. It's already chipped a little bit after maybe a month's worth of use, which is a bummer, but it is really good. I got a Destroyer. I think this one's amazing for me because it's slightly understable, and that gives me a whole lot more confidence when I'm throwing a shot to know that I'm not just going to hyzer out hardcore. FD3, I honestly thought this was the Discmania FD3 because it said it, but it's actually the Innova's FD3, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think it's the disc that I expected to get. Anyways, I'm loving it. I throw forehand with it, and it does the exact flight pattern that I like to do. So that was a great pickup. I'm just surprised I didn't have a disc like that already. This is where I got a little bit experimental. I just kind of got in a rut that I was like, I need to throw something that is like slower than a 7-speed, but a interesting flight that I don't already have. So I went to the like clearance section on Infinite Discs and just looked at every single one and looked at their reviews to see which ones were actually worth buying. So the Cohort has been an incredibly weird disc. It flies either really straight or really overstable. If I'm doing circle 1 putts, it actually does go the direction I want to most of the time, but it can be still predictable. That escape, the plastic just did not work out great. It got chipped and does not fly anymore. And I probably threw maybe 2 months worth of shots. I threw it in a tournament. It worked out pretty well, but after that, just chipped and wasn't good anymore. The Loki is the weirdest putter I've ever used. It's super interesting. It does have a use, a very overstable putter. And when I need to like get out of a bind, if I'm like in the trees, I can throw that and know it's gonna go hyzer if I need to, or Anheuser if I need to. So that's a pickup that I was not expecting to like, but it has been amazing. The Atom, I love the Atom, but I think my plastic just wasn't right. It got warped pretty quickly, and so I can't really throw it anymore. But it is a great disc if you have it in the right plastic. The Pilot, I don't think I think I got the bad plastic again. I think I should have gotten a more premium plastic, but I did just get like what was on clearance, and I saw it had great reviews, and I do love it. But now it will not fly consistently. So that's going to be a common use case for clearance disc, but that's fine. All right, this is my most fun pickup from Infinite. So I picked up this Pure because Reddit was blowing up about it, and it has been my go-to putter for the past year. So I recommend everyone get it. I don't know that it's for everyone, but I do think everyone will get a use out of it because it has a slight fade at the end, and it, for the most part, flies pretty straight once you get a hang of it. This Katana has been one of my favorites also. It was actually the first disc that I found without a phone number attached to it, so I picked it up. And I was loving it. And then, for whatever reason, I just trusted a shot so much with it because I was like, hey, it works out every time. And it did not work out well. Got in the trees, lost it. Spent probably half an hour looking for it. So I had to give up. And then this Katana was a little bit more domey. Wasn't quite the same feel. But I got it beat in, and it was working great. But then when I was in Portland on the Blue Lake disc golf course, I lost it. I spent so much time looking for it because I was like, man, I love this one too. But the curse of katanas is that they are a little bit unpredictable, so they're bound to get lost. I have that beast. It has been a mainstay in my bag. Every course I have a use for it. I recommend everyone get it. It will be a really good, almost like the FD3, but just more overstable. It will do a super hard hyzer if you need to. That Valkyrie was amazing. I lost it right before the Kansas City Wide Open, which sucks, but it was a great disc. Flew mostly straight. It somehow like would angle Anheuser for a little bit, but overall it flew really straight. T-Bird, I lost it in the trees at Cedar Ridge, which isn't really that known for losing discs because it's not that woody of a course, but I ended up losing it in the trees somehow, so it's no longer here, which is a common thing with all these discs. I've either broke it or I lost it. So we're going to go to Innova's shop. And so I've been going pretty hardcore Innova. Haven't really touched much of anything else for the most part, but that's fine. So I spent, let's see, about 200, which I honestly get so much value out of the second run shop. So I recommend everyone go to the pro shop for Innova. It has been amazing. All right, so this is my like second run for Innova. I saw there was a deal for like $5 discs, so I was like, I have to get it. So I got my Wraith, Boss, another Boss with a slightly different weight, Mako 3, Orc, Starfire, Turn, and Sidewinder. I think all of these weren't exactly what I wanted because I didn't really know what they were going to be. But they all fly or flew pretty consistent what the flight path was. My Pro Wraith got a ton of use, and it was, I think it got a Star Wraith without actually knowing it because it had like premium plastic and it never got chipped. I just lost it in a tournament. Pro Boss, I think I lost it in the water. Second Pro Boss I have. No, I lost that one too. Mako 3, it is a great shot or a great disc to do like 100-footer layup. It has saved me a ton of strokes in my Shawnee Lake Open. It was the reason why I could consistently get pars. I didn't get any birdies in that tournament, but I got probably 10 pars in a row just by laying up with my Mako 3, so I love it. The Orc I have not found a use for yet. It is just too weird feeling. I just don't really know what to do with it. Starfire and Turn, I used it for a week, lost it, sucks. My Sidewinder, I like it in practice, but I just never find a use for it. I also play lots of wooded courses, but still, I don't really know what you do with it. All right, my most recent pickup was Star Destroyer, Wraith, Excal, Boss, Firebird, Valkyrie, Aviar, Rock, T-Bird, and Boss. So you see, I get a lot of bosses because I really like them. That Star Destroyer, just as is the curse with destroyers, it is not consistently made in the same type of plastic. Even if it says Star Destroyer, it's going to fly slightly differently than what other ones will. So I use it, but it's just not the same feel as what I wanted from it. So it's not super useful for me right now. Star Wraith has been amazing. It's what I use in every round. Excal, it is like a more overstable boss, so I can't really find a use for it, similar to the Orc. But I still like it. I fly well with it in practice, but when I get to like an actual round, I just can't find myself actually using it. Firebird has been amazing. I recommend everyone get it. Obviously, I'm not new to that. It's just a great disc. Valkyrie has been a little bit strange. It doesn't fly like my other Valkyrie, but if you can fly, or if you can throw it hard, it will go straight. So that is an amazing part of that disc. Star Aviar is the one where I got a 60-footer I have on Instagram. So I love that disc. It is beefier than any other putter I've had, so that's kind of new, but it does fly really straight. My Rock, I'm still trying to learn how it works. Just having like a really overstable putter like that, or mid-range, whatever you call it, it is a new shot that I have never done. So I'm still trying to figure that one out, but I do like it. T-Bird, haven't tried it too much so far, but it will do fly straight for like 75% of the flight path, then fade out. So it's definitely has a use case. I just don't use it that often. Then my Boss, I just roll in and out until I lose another one. All right, this is my this is a mistake. I saw that they had another inventory on Reddit, so I was like, okay, I'll buy a little bit more, and then I bought 7 more. So I shouldn't have done that, but whatever. I lost an Eagle, my Katana, and my Valkyrie. So that's why I ordered all these. And my Valkyrie that I wanted just didn't fly the same as what my old Valkyrie was. That's why I got that one too. It's a series of mistakes, but that's okay. So that new Valkyrie, it does fly straight. I do like it. The Eagles, I have not really used enough yet to have an opinion on it. It does not fly like my old Eagles, but my old Eagle that I found, I didn't actually buy it. But it does fly pretty well. Like it just has a little bit more turn than I expect, but they are flying decent. That Star Aviar X3, I do not understand it yet. It is very strange. It is a very short flight, and it hyzers way more than you expect. So I don't really know how to do that one yet. Star Katana, it feels different than my other Katanas, so I still don't really know how to fly it well yet, but that's fine. Leopard 3, this one just seems like a fun disc to have. I don't know if I'll use it much in tournaments, but I do like to just throw it around because it has really premium plastic. Same with the Star Lion. It has premium plastic and it's a mid-range, so it's not a shot that I use very often, but I think I need to start because it is nice. Same with the Lion. It is used, I think, for 100 to 150 foot layups, but I just don't do that shot enough, so I'm still trying to figure it out. All right, so that is a ton, but we are not done yet. There's still more. All right, so my local shop, Dynamic Discs, they're amazing. I like to support local shops because they obviously run the tournaments that I do locally, and the owner is super cool, great guy. So I love to support the guys, but they're never great value. Every time I buy them, I'm just like, ugh, I feel like I could have just bought anywhere else and it would have been significantly cheaper. But it is great to have a feel for the disc and to support local. So I don't actually really remember what these discs were, so it's a bummer. I know one of these was a new Valkyrie because I lost my old one. So I'm actually at 4 Valkyries bought so far, but I only have 2 left. I lost my first Valkyrie on my very first throw. I spent hours looking for it, could not find it. I was like, how does this happen? I am not even in that wooded of a course, but I lost it. It was awful. So about 110 spent at local shops. So not a ton, but still a decent amount for only getting what is, I think, 6 discs. Yeah, it's not great value, but that's fine. So next up I have my 3. Next up I have 3 transactions that weren't with any paper trail. It was just kind of bought it from secondhand. I don't regret any of these purchases. They have all been amazing. I also have sold, I think, 4 discs so far. I sold them for like $5 each. So even though I spent $1,000, I guess I got $20 back, but I don't really count that. So I was looking up people on Facebook because I have an addiction to buying discs, and this guy was, I think, a reseller, and he just was ready to quit the game. So he was selling like every different brand known, and he had like 100 discs in stock per brand. So it was an amazing pickup. But I wasn't really interested in too many actual discs because I have so many. But I thought getting some putters would be great because I love my pure, and he was selling pures. And then there was a couple of others, lots of Wardens, and some lesser known putters. But I just wanted to try them all out and see if they would fly consistently. And I think for the most part, they're all great pickups. It's great to have duplicates in your bag, or duplicates like wherever you store them, so that when you practice, you can just throw the same shot over and over. You get a good feel for it. So I think that's honestly one of my most proud buys, even though they were the cheapest discs, but they were the most premium because they had never been thrown, and I knew exactly what they were because I was about to pick them up. And it was great. I recommend everyone, if they can find somebody locally, go there, because that is how you know you're going to get what you pay for. So I got 10 discs, or 10 putters for $80. I went to Minneapolis in like my second month of playing, and I was like, okay, I'll buy some new discs because I could definitely tell that the starter set was not working out well for me. So I think I got 5 discs for $80. Not great value. I think I was maybe like a sheep among wolves. I didn't really know what everything costs, but I was so excited to just throw whatever. So I just wanted to buy anything that they had. So bought 5 discs for $80. Not great, but still fun. Next up, I bought Castoplast, and this will probably be my second favorite purchase because these are the most premium discs that, as long as I don't lose them, they will never be like bad discs. They will always fly consistently unless I like really hit hard at a tree. But even that, I've hit lots of trees with my Grim, and it still flies amazing. So I think these discs are amazing, and I recommend everyone get Castoplast if you can. So I spent $85 there. And you might be thinking, hey, that is a ton of money. You are right, but we're not done yet. All right. So let's get into the tournaments. So I haven't really pursued tournaments that much, even though I've done 3 so far, and I've only been in the sport for like a year and a half. But this is where I think the sport really shines. You can really see what your skill level is, and so I never regret this as a purchase. I think it's super important to do. Kind of in the similar vein as 5Ks if you're a runner. Just getting out and running against other people, you get a really good vibe for how you compete and how well you do, especially under pressure. First tournament at the Dynamic Disc Open. Amazing course. Had a great time at the tournament. It was my first one. It was about $40. I think that might be a little bit steep for a one-day tournament, but it's still really good. Lake Shawnee and Topeka was an amazing. I wouldn't say the second course was amazing. We had like one actual course and then one like made-up course that you just had practice baskets used for the entire park. So it was like a cool idea, but I don't think it was very premium. But it was like $32, so a little bit cheaper, and it was definitely more authentic because everyone around me was like local to Topeka. They were local to the area, and so it was just kind of cool to hang out with people that I've never really interacted with before. They were all really tight-knit community, so it was really fun to experience that. Lastly, I did the Kansas City Wide Open. This is like probably the biggest tournament I've ever done, and I would say it's one of the bigger ones in Kansas besides like the Glass Blown Open. So I had a great time with this one. Obviously, our rating got boosted a good bit. I spent $53. So that is a lot. And then we have to count in the PDGA membership. So if you count all that, excluding discs that I've sold, it comes out to a little over $11.50. Now you might be thinking, that's crazy. And I think it's still crazy to me. But with that said, I don't regret any of this. I don't regret a single purchase that I've made. It's a bummer that I've lost so many and that so many have chipped, but it's just kind of a testament to how much I play and how much use I get out of every purchase that I've made. Like the purchase from my Minneapolis trip, it still has dividends today, and it's been almost a year and a half, and I used to only fly these discs, but a lot of them I still throw. The other ones I've lost, so lost or sold. So it really is true that if you are invested in the sport, it's really hard to make a bad purchase unless you're buying like a signature disc for $100. I don't really think there's a bad purchase. And even that, if you really want collectibles, you value it, maybe that's a good purchase. I don't think so. But overall, I look at everything, and for a sport that I play every day for at least an hour, $1,000 for a year and a half is not that bad. But I also will say I will not probably buy discs for a while. I think I have a good enough stock for sure that I do not need any new putters, don't need any new mids. My drivers I might replace if I lose some because I like what I currently have. But other than that, I think I'll be pretty set for a while. And I think that's something that people gloss over a little bit in the sport, is that there's so much wanting new discs and but once you get to a state where you're like, oh, I'm comfortable with what I have, you might not buy discs for like another year. So I think it's still a lot to purchase, but it's a good purchase. I love it. I love every part of the sport. So I love to get a new premium feel for a new plastic. So I'll never regret it. But with that said, it is expensive. Anyone that says it's cheap, well, they've only bought like the starter set and maybe a couple more. If you really want to dive in, it's not that cheap. But with that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great day. Bye.